Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Peter Murphy begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Coronavirus has claimed another Tasmanian victim, with our second death in as many days. As the government tries to limit the spread and number of deaths, new restrictions have come into force, limiting people to their homes. Tonight we have more clarity about exceptions to the rules after many Tasmanians were left confused by the initial announcement.
Another day, another tragic development, this time out of the Royal Hobart Hospital. A man there becoming our second coronavirus-linked death.
Today, unfortunately and sadly, I need to confirm that we've had our second death from the coronavirus. An elderly man who was being cared for at the Royal Hobart Hospital passed away overnight.
Our 2 fatal cases were in their 80s, authorities now confirming they were passengers on the Ruby Princess cruise ship. Another 3 coronavirus cases diagnosed overnight, bringing our state's total to 69.
2 are from southern Tasmania and 1 is from the northwest. 1 is a close contact of a known case, 1 is a recently arrived traveller from overseas, and the 3rd had recently travelled aboard a cruise ship. All 3 cases are women.
Public Health is still investigating the source of infection for 2 Devonport cases. Tracing of their contacts sending another 22 people into quarantine.
The trace back is much more difficult. It's the process of trying to work out where people caught their infection from, and you'll understand that we're particularly concerned to see if we can identify a specific source of these cases or whether it's arisen from somewhere else in the community.
As the government tries to lower the risk of coronavirus transmission, new restrictions came into effect at midnight. Gatherings of more than 2 people restricted, and Tasmanians ordered to stay at home unless they have a good reason. The official direction includes specific exceptions, including leaving your home for work and school, shopping for essentials, seeking medical or veterinary treatment, providing support and care to another person, and outdoor exercise.
If you want to go for a walk, if you want to go for a run, if you want to ride a bike, many Tasmanians go shooting, many Tasmanians go fishing. You can still do those activities, but only 2 people.
We understand that things are evolving quickly. The coronavirus.tas.gov.au website will give you the most up-to-date information. There are a fact sheet on those that will apply to a range of circumstances.
But with many Tasmanians asking exactly how the public health direction applies, that website wasn't updated until 12 hours after the restrictions came into place.
It's hard for people already. They're so confused. They're seeking details so they can make good decisions that are consistent with what the government are asking them to do. If that information's not updated on the website, no wonder people are struggling to comply.
The threat of a $750 fine for individuals who don't comply, $5,000 for businesses. But can partners who live apart stay together overnight? The government says up to 2 visitors are allowed in homes, and Tasmanians should be mindful of distancing advice and limiting unnecessary travel.
I never thought that I'd be extending into people's love lives in this particular way, but I just want to say, utilise common sense.
Spreading the message to be sensible to help prevent any more lives being lost. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian businesses have welcomed the JobKeeper package, saying it's vital to help them stay afloat. But there are still concerns for our childcare sector, warning if immediate action isn't taken to preserve them, they could face ruin.
Pennicott Wilderness Journeys has been a major success of Tasmania's tourism industry. But the coronavirus crisis has crippled the business, forcing it into shutdown last week. 118 of its 120 employees were temporarily stood down.
It was a very stressful time telling them that there was no work and they were being temporarily put down. A lot of emotion, a lot of tears.
But now this and many more Tasmanian businesses are set to access the federal government's JobKeeper package, providing staff with wages and making sure experienced workers are retained.
Keeps all of my staff around me as the employer, so when we do bounce back, we'll bounce back very quickly compared to them going elsewhere.
I believe it will help mental health too, because again the pressure that's been growing on Tasmanians for the last few weeks is evident.
The Chamber of Commerce says many of its members were struggling to find a way out of the growing economic crisis.
businesses who are really beginning to wonder how they could make it work going forward can see a future now, which is terrific.
But as many breathe a small sigh of relief, the childcare sector is close to hitting the wall. Early Childhood Australia says numbers of children in care have dropped by up to 90%.
Pay staff, to pay their people, to pay their bills. If you haven't got income, you can't pay those obligations.
Centres facing the loss of government subsidies if they choose to close.
Fixed costs that will apply to our services regardless of one child being in care or 100 children. So we're looking for some relief around rents.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Now to a special state address from the Premier, Peter Gutman.
Fellow Tasmanians, today, unfortunately, there was another Tasmanian life lost to coronavirus. That is 2 deaths too many, and I extend my deepest condolences to the families involved. Unfortunately, these won't be the last, and we need to ready ourselves for that. At this time, I also want to thank Tasmanians who are doing the right thing and importantly being kind to one another. I'm sure you agree, we live in the most beautiful place in the world. Clean air, stunning beaches, unparalleled wilderness, and a vibrant and united community. It's something we all want to protect. We are fortunate we live on an island, separated from mainland Australia by a 250-kilometre wide stretch of water. And it's because of that moat that we have a unique chance to control the coronavirus. A chance to turn our beautiful island home into Fortress Tasmania against this deadly threat. With the strong border controls we now have in place, it means that we have a real chance to control and minimise the spread of this virus. And if we can do that, there is a chance that we can return to normality sooner. But for us to be successful, it means that everyone, all of us, have to play our part. Many people have already made great sacrifices in this fight, and many more will. Businesses built up over generations have been destroyed. Tens of thousands of workers have lost their jobs. Personal liberties have been restricted. Our Tasmanian way of life has been turned upside down and inside out. This is deadly serious. Lives have and will be lost. It is now an offence for you to leave your home unless you have a reasonable excuse, such as getting essential supplies, going to work or school, exercising or caring for someone. Public gatherings of more than 2 people are now prohibited. And this Easter, people won't be going camping or to their shacks. These measures are tough, they are harsh, and they will be enforced with strong penalties. But there is one very clear and simple reason for them. It is because if you stay home, if you follow the rules, you will save lives. If you stay at home, you dramatically reduce the risk of catching the coronavirus. And importantly, you dramatically reduce the risk of spreading it. I don't know how long these rules will need to be in place. However, I am confident that by acting now and going hard, we give ourselves the best shot at reducing how long these restrictions last. I understand how difficult these measures are, and I want to assure you we are doing everything we can to support you through this time. That's why we've announced nearly $1 billion in spending to help Tasmanians, ranging from support to business to protect our workforce wherever possible, household support and relief, extra money for health and mental health. We provided a significant amount of funding for food banks, charities and not-for-profit organisations to support children, families and individuals to ensure people have the support and services they need at a time as challenging as this. The federal government too has announced unprecedented support measures with an aim to help businesses to hibernate whilst this passes and to keep our economy idling. And while we must physically distance, we must also stay connected. So check in on one another, pick up the phone and talk to friends, enjoy a dinner via video conferencing, connect through social media. Be in no doubt we have some tough days ahead. It will not be easy, it will be a hard fight, but please don't be discouraged, because I am absolutely confident if we follow the rules, if we stay home, we will get through. We will come out the other side stronger than ever before. To all Tasmanians, I say this: if we pull together, if we watch out for each other, we will win this battle. We will get Tasmania back. So please, all Tasmanians, follow the rules, stay home and save lives.
As critical medical supplies dry up across the globe, a local startup is doing its bit to prevent a shortage for frontline health workers. The Tassie Face Masks project is a new way for the public to help replenish stocks, and it's already paying dividends.
If you're looking to do your bit to help save lives while also preoccupying yourself in isolation, this could be for you.
Get in there, make some masks and help our healthcare professionals fighting on the front line.
Old scraps of fabric stitched together into modern-day armour, the DIY Face Masks project encouraging sewers to grab a needle and thread for an important cause.
So that we can stop the spread of droplets to people like our staff and frontline workers.
It's hoped all patients will wear the colourful covers, freeing up medical-grade face masks for frontline health workers. Supplies that some Tasmanian clinics are hanging by a thread.
And had our first delivery yesterday to an obstetric practice that had no masks at all.
Since launching a how-to guide on Facebook only days ago, more than 100 masks have been handcrafted.
There's donation forms there for people who would like to make masks or donate material.
The homemade creations can be dropped into donation boxes at pharmacies in Launceston. If successful, the dream is to roll out the project statewide.
A lot of people have been asking what can they do to make a difference, and getting out the sewing machine with a funky style of fabric and getting our pattern downloaded is a real positive thing.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Stage 1 and 2 water restrictions have now been removed for most of Tasmania. Locations including Hobart, Launceston, Bridport, Ulverston, Scamander and Swansea rescind the special measures as of today. However, Stage 2 restrictions remain in place for Coles Bay and Oatlands until the end of May. Whitemark is also on water-saving measures while construction work continues on the Henderson Dam. Taswater says usage dropped by as much as 30% in some areas over summer. A man has been caught on camera stealing cameras. Police have released images of the thief, who has focused on CCTV cameras in the Devonport area over the past month. Anyone who can help police identify the culprit is asked to contact Crime Stoppers.
The immediate future of racing in Tasmania is in doubt after today's Devonport Greyhound meeting was abandoned. The owner of the showground site says it locked the gates under instruction from the Office of Racing Integrity and Tasmania Police. It's because Tas Racing is yet to receive an exemption to current rules around public gatherings. It's understood Tas Racing has applied for the exemption, but it is yet to be ticked off. Prize money for today's meeting, will be split between the participants. 2 Tasmanians will represent the country at the Youth Sailing World Championships in December. Ethan Galbraith and Charlie Zeman will race in the International 29er class at the event in Brazil. It comes after the pair claimed the National 29er title in January.
Good evening. Hobart with the state's top of 21 today. That was shared with the Friendly Beaches, St Helens and Campania. 20 in Launceston today. Burnie and Devonport both reaching 19. Some light showers about the west today, cloudy elsewhere. Smithton, Ouse, Strawn, Flinders and King Island all 19. Grove and Lowhead 18. Scottsdale 17. Lyoweny 15 after a low of 2 degrees overnight. To the satellite and cloudy conditions over the state today. Further afield, in a weak cold front sits off our far west. High cloud and thunderstorms over South Australia and parts of the top end and WA. Elsewhere, conditions were mostly sunny. To tomorrow's chart, and a cold front will decay and brush Tasmania's south. A high remains in the bight. Surface troughs the main feature around the mainland. West to northwesterly winds tomorrow at 5 to 15 knots, swells to around a metre in the north, up to 3 metres in the south. No warnings for tomorrow, so let's take a look at the forecast. A possible shower in Hobart 20, Geeston a shower 20 also, and Bothwell fine and 21. Partly cloudy conditions for Launceston tomorrow 21, Devonport 19, Cressy fine and 21. A shower or 2 on the way for Burnie and Strawn 19, Curry looking at a top of 20 degrees. In the east, St Helens a high of 21, Swansea 20, a possible late shower for Orford 20 degrees there. The UV forecast, moderate statewide. Turning to the 3-day forecast now, and rain on Thursday about the northeast, extending statewide during the morning and early afternoon. Friday showers clearing from the southeast during the morning, then increasing about the northwest later. And Saturday showers about the southeast during the afternoon. Capital cities tomorrow, Melbourne is looking at a top of 24 degrees, Adelaide 23, Perth fine and 27, Darwin 34, 29 forecast for Brisbane, Sydney and Canberra both 25 degrees. And here you can see the current conditions. It's back to you, Murph.
Thanks very much, Laura, and thank you very much for joining us this evening. Good night.